everybody, welcome back to my channel. So as you can see, I underwent a brand change or rebranding pretty much. Yeah, this is more fitting. Stay tuned. For today's video, I'm going to talk to you about the new moon in Pisces happening on February 23rd, 2020. So this new moon in Pisces is a reflection of what it is that you're in touch with, what it is that you've been doing this whole time, you've been living really this whole time. The moon being in Pisces is going to be sextiling Mars in Capricorn. And this essentially is a new way of perceiving things in our reality that are directly connected to what it is that we want to accomplish. Our goals, whatever it is that you want to put your intention behind or put action toward. So the other aspect that's being made is the Jupiter square Venus. And this is essentially forcing you to be aware and maneuver through the obstacles that come when it's things that deal with your desires, your passions, things that deal with your money, your finances, your relationships, how you relate with people, just the things that normally would bring you happiness and pleasure and a feeling of accomplishment and comfort, and really assessing whether or not those things are doing that. Because this is a time where we really filter through what's really blocking us from getting and feeling and being and living who we want to be or who we know we are. And essentially, it's like a dance where you instinctively know because you can feel it at an intuitive level. The new moon in Pisces is a reminder to just let yourself flow in your life like that. It's like sometimes you just have to do what you have to do. And you have to psychologically and internally be content and happy with it. Truly happy and appreciating life, because you know that everything is in a constant state of flux, a constant state of motion. It's like the concept of the ebb and flow of life itself, and you moving with it, you moving through it, and recognizing at what moment you want to go in a different direction or go in a different current. So definitely implement new ideas, implement new areas of life that you can expand on, but at the same time, allow yourself to have the courage necessary or the discipline necessary to really restructure things and not necessarily hold yourself back from what you think would make you comfortable, as opposed to just exploring new territory where you can find even more comfort. It's essentially like that, because Capricorn placements, especially now with our Mars being there, we have to be mindful of not moving in a direction that is 10 steps back when you already made 20 steps forward. It's a lot of steps. This new moon in Pisces happening at 4 degrees is one where you allow the essence that you know to be true to who you are at your core level to just seep through, to literally just permeate, to just let it be. And from there, you can truly connect with source, connect with the divinity in your life, and feel as if you're flowing and not just being dragged or being led astray. No, you're really in tune with the reality of the choices you make and the intentions behind them, and whether or not you are actually invested in it because of whether or not you follow through. This sweater dress is so stressed out. Stressed out. Oh my God. This sweater dress is so stretched out, but it's so comfortable. Anyways, I need to go to sleep. It is 3:21 in the morning. I'll probably do the individual signs as a voiceover because I'm exhausted. Thank you so much for watching. And if you have any questions, comments, check out nebulaclub.net. And I also offer a 30-minute follow-up if you order a natal chart analysis. Because usually sometimes people have questions, or just commentary that they'd like to further discuss upon. So it kind of just makes sense. So yeah, check it out. And thanks again. Till next time. So now I'll briefly go over how the new moon is affecting the areas of houses. You can also tune into this to kind of get an intuitive understanding of how it applies for your sun, moon signs, or even your Venus signs if you understand how to apply it. So Aries, this new moon in Pisces at 4 degrees is happening in your 12th house. And you are latching onto your intuition and making sense of the totality of what you've been perceiving. Because the 12th house deals a lot with reflection, and this is a time period where you're reflecting a lot on your experience and collecting the gems you want to keep in your life as you move forward. It's like at a subconscious level, you're aware of just how the behind the scenes to how things panned out the way they did and how your actions and your lifestyles have fueled that or have brought you to where you are today. And also how other people, have influenced you, and just the things that you've attracted, the things that you've desired, how it's led to the choices that you're making in your life currently because of Venus transiting your first house. Now, and Capricorn in your 10th house. So there's a lot of connection between your subconscious mind, who you are, and how that reflects into the world around you, into your public life. Now, Taurus, this is happening in your 11th house. And there's a strong focus on your life's vision. You're really thinking of the new endeavors and realities and just the dreams that you can manifest for yourself, while you're also recognizing the current ones you've brought into your life. This is a time where you can simply restructure things and have a more focused vision towards what it is that you truly want, especially after experiencing what you may not like or what you may not want, especially with Venus being in your 12th house. You've had the opportunity to indulge, and with Capricorn being in your 9th house, there's the understanding of how you are structuring your own experience and how the choices you do make and the choices that you do allow to be influenced by other people lead you to the experiences that you have today. Because Capricorn being in your 9th house, this is a time where you're constructing your experiences and also recognizing the wisdom that you've gained from previous experiences, from previous circumstances. And the 9th house deals a lot with the nature of your experience and the nature of your wisdom and higher understanding and how that all ties together. With Pisces being in your 11th house, this is a clear reflection of whether or not you feel like you're going in a direction that you want to go into, and whether or not there are things that need to be removed, so on and so forth. It's like with Pisces being in your 11th house, you just simply have to tune into your intuition and just sit with the knowing of what it is that you feel and move through that, move with that. Because deep down, you're aware of how the communities and the groups and organizations you've surrounded yourself with have led you to the groups of friends and the friendships and who you are today, essentially. Because with your 5th house being in Virgo, opposing all of that, you have a pristine and clear cut understanding of the method to the madness that makes you the essence of who you are. So in that same way, you also understand how the world around you reflects that through the serendipitous experiences that you have. Because again, Pisces is an experience itself. It's not something that you can necessarily tangibly make sense of in terms of analytics. You really have to tap into intuition and just the ebb and flow and the nature of things to understand the Piscean essence. But anyways, with it transiting your 11th house, you're creating a blueprint for future endeavors and also revising old ones, but also just sitting in the contentment of it all. With Gemini, this Pisces new moon is transiting your 10th house. You're establishing, in a way, a type of clear perspective or idea towards what it is that you want to produce in your life, what it is that you want to appear like, especially in the public sector. You're gaining courage to express what you feel is valuable, what you feel is important, what you feel truly matters, especially in regards to what you've been around with or what you consider yourself a part of. With Gemini being in your 10th house, or with Pisces transiting the new moon in Pisces transiting your 10th house, you are aware of the logistics of how the totality of everything you're perceiving has led up to the persona that you are known by in the world, or that you are expressing in the world. Because when it comes to your 10th house being in Pisces, you can't really necessarily control it all. There's a very co-creative nature when it comes to mutable energy and the reaction that comes from the actions that take place. Pisces energy and Gemini energy, they essentially look at the same things in a similar way, but differently, because they're both mutable signs. So they both have a similar method to the madness. Gemini, once it understands the point, once it understands the quintessence, the really finite point that it's trying to express, that's all that's really needed. And then it lets go. And whenever you look at Pisces, the new moon in Pisces transiting your 10th house, you're aware of the conglomerate of the bigger picture that you've created in regards to your image and your persona. And this also gives you new insights to create, new establishments and goals that you want to achieve for your future. Oh my gosh, my microphone was not plugged in. Mercury retrograde. Anyways, Cancer. The new moon in Pisces is happening in your 9th house. And with Pisces, the new moon in Pisces transiting this area, you are spiritually understanding the totality of the perspective you've gained in terms of the experiences that you've had. You're seeing how your intellect and your intuition have allowed you to expand upon territories you've probably never experienced before in your life. But at the same time, you've also understood your own personal limits. There may be a completely new understanding and perspective in regards to your higher ideals and understandings and wisdoms, and also how that can create new adventures for you. At the same time, you may be looking towards expanding upon a new adventure, a new experience that you have wanted, but probably never thought you could go towards. This is a time now where really you're just going with the flow and just resting with your own inner understanding beyond the everyday life, beyond the mundane aspects of things. There has to be a sense of courage to flow towards new initiatives, because when it comes to the 9th house, it's ruled by Sagittarius. And Sagittarius has this need to expand upon new territory, to grow, because it's expansive by nature. So if you're feeling, like you want a new, completely fresh thing in your life, now is the time to do it, because you have the understanding from previous experiences to know or have an idea of which next direction to take. The seventh house, being in Capricorn and all the Capricorn transits being in there, really pay attention to the people that you keep around. Really pay attention to yourself as a person in regards to the people, whether or not, in resonance. And I mean true resonance, not the kind where you're comfortable because the person feeds negative aspects of yourself, but because you guys can actually grow as people. And the seventh house deals with all relationships, not just, romantic ones. It's one-on-one relationships. It's like, okay, the people that I frequent with on a regular basis that have a reflection upon me, how are they, what am I seeing from my experiences with them about myself? And how does that lead to the experiences that I have in my life? So on and so forth. And with your 10th house being in Aries, you really are seeing how the things that you value and desire, how that makes the image that you have in the public. Because 10th house Aries, the raw essence of who you are shines through. So if there needs to be, some Libra refinement in from your 4th house, use the square aspects that Capricorn is making to truly refine your foundation, your inner soul, your inner knowings. And this requires really working through things from the past that may have not been cleared up or taken a look at. This new moon in Pisces is making everybody look at the baggage that's not letting them move forward, if there is any. And if you've already done that kind of work and you're ready to just move forward and you feel that light weight, then this is a time where you look at the horizons, look at the bigger picture, and look at the opportunities that are there and present. And just remember that, the only change, or the only constant, is change. I butchered that. Mercury retrograde. Anyways, you get the point. Moving on. Cancer, Leo. This new moon is happening in your... it's happening in your 8th house. This is a time where you really look at the intimate aspects of your life, whether it's the things that you regard as secret or sacred, or it's the things that you regard as really just intimacy in regards to your confidence levels, or intimacy in regards to sex, intimacy in regards to all aspects. There's an understanding of what makes people truly connect and what is the glue to society and how that relates to how you connect with other people. At the same time, this is a time where you can use your intuition to seamlessly make new connections and begin new avenues that help you grow based off of the relations and contracts and just consolidations that you make in your life. Because the 8th house has also a lot to do with just currency in general, but not just financial currency, but inner currency. And with Pisces, the new moon in Pisces transiting this sector, pay attention to, just the day-to-day things that you do, the lifestyle that you live. Because ideally, with Capricorn being in your 6th house right now, you have to keep the weight of the work realistic. Meaning, if you're taking on a bunch of work that is literally not even conducive to your future, you cannot be surprised as to why you're not making progress towards there. There has to be a radical structure that truly cuts out things that no longer are conducive to your future. There's the emotional aspect where you're in tune with what it is that you want. And then you have to also balance it out with the reality of what it's going to take to get there. Because with the Pisces new moon transiting your 8th house, again, you're intuitively and deeply psychologically aware of the undercurrents of reality and how the connections you formulated brought you to the space you're in today. And so, again, use this time and energy to connect with what you intuitively feel. Because Venus transiting your ninth house, this is you allowing yourself to experience and gain the wisdom that you want to gain that's in relation to the core essence of who you are. Long story short, you're exploring yourself. This is a time of self-exploration, but on a very internal and intimate level. So stay honest with yourself and stay true to yourself so that you formulate a reality or continue to formulate a reality that is a reflection of how you feel about yourself, but also how you want to be seen. Because Uranus is transiting your 10th house. So this is a time where you truly are creating a new, I don't want to say persona, but it's like a new public image to be known by. But again, this is a process that's going to take several years. But everything that you do, every little thing that you do that leads up to the entire cycle adds up. So, Pisces is intuitive. Do your best, forget the rest, and let the rest go. Next up, Virgo. Okay, so Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo. The Pisces new moon is happening in your 7th house. And this is you understanding how your relationships with people, I can't speak. Oh my gosh. How your relationships with people not only are a reflection of how you feel about yourself and how you express your self-confidence, but also who you are as a person, because it's opposing your 1st house or any Virgo placements that you have. The new moon in Pisces in the 7th house. Okay, let's put it simply. I have this placement. I'm a Virgo rising. So it's like I've made certain cuts in my life from people who I'm aware, just point blank, it's just their actions speak for them. Actions speak louder than words. Pay attention to actions. And I've made some cuts in my life and I'm like, okay, first of all, I'm an Aquarius moon, so it's like, it's nothing for me to make cuts in my life, right? It's nothing. It's like, it sucks, but you understand the necessity of it. Likewise, the connections that you do have, you value them so much more that this is a great time to hang around with people that, you cherish, you love, you value, just the relationships in your life that remind you of the greatness that you are, that remind you of, the reality that, okay, whatever you let go, yeah, it sucks, but it's going to be okay. Or whatever it is that you want, you can gain it because you already have this. Pisces energy is accepting the harsh reality of life and the illusory side that can be manifested at any time. So this is truly a time where you reflect upon the relationships you have with people, but also be aware of how the previous connections you've had, because having Pisces in the 7th house is extremely difficult. At least, let me put it this way. It's difficult because of the Neptunian aspect. Everybody you meet is going to have an aspect of them that you don't discover until after the experience. And this can be for good or bad, depending on, how the other person is. And this is not necessarily a bad thing, because as long as people have integrity, or the person that you're dealing with on a one-on-one basis has integrity, you can get through anything. Communication and integrity goes a long way, or authenticity goes a long way. So, keep it simple. At the same time, even if, say, for example, right, I said, I cut some people out. Well, when I say I cut some people out, I didn't mean like, okay, you're out of my life forever, because I don't really deal with people who are like that terrible. But it's like, I keep my distance now. At a psychological level, I recognize where I need to keep my distance, but that doesn't mean they're not welcome, if that makes sense. Because I respect the fact that everybody's their own person and everybody's going through their own thing and everybody has their own method to the madness. So it's like, if you're showing me that, you're trying, or this is the best, or whatever, it is what it is, I respect that. but I'm still going along my merry way in my life. Then again, I'm an Aquarius moon and I march to the beat of my own drums. Lastly, with Capricorn, briefly mentioning this, but Capricorn being in your fifth house, you've understood what love means, okay? Because you've understood what it means to truly love yourself from bottom up. Truly love yourself enough to respect yourself enough to develop relationships and connections with people that are a reflection of how you regard yourself, the standards you set for yourself, and so on and so forth. Now, Virgo, Libra. Libra up next. This new moon is happening. Oh, wait. Sorry. One more quick thing for Virgo. With the new moon happening in your seventh house, this is a time where, again, your ability to just let things flow because you trust the knowing of your inner soul. It's gonna make developing connections with people a lot easier and diplomatic, just because this is a good time to, express yourself to people, to the public, to, especially with Gemini being in the 10th house, just express yourself in your community and expand upon your own logistics. You're never really alone. There's always people there. It's just the nature of how, things are connected. Again, refer to the Leo new moon in Pisces section, where you just know, okay, as a Virgo ascendant or just Virgo placements, there's just this inner knowing based off of the information you've amassed. So, you're aware of a lot of things about yourself in regards to people. And, like I said, with the Leo placements, do your best, forget the rest, do your part and then let go and let God. Now, Libra. So from the signs that I'm going to say from now until Pisces, all this is happening from your sixth house to your first house. So it's going to be a lot more practical in terms of the applicability of what it is I'm going to say, because the first through the sixth house is a lot more of the things that deal with just the basic structures of our consciousness and blah blah blah. Anyways, Libra, the new moon in Pisces is happening in your sixth house. And this is a time where you are recognizing how the lifestyle you've been living has produced the reality that you are experiencing. Because the opposition of Virgo being in your 12th house to Pisces in the sixth house, at a subconscious level, you're very, very aware of the behind the scenes to reality and how that actually pans out into your lifestyle, into your reality. Because with Pisces being here, this is a time where, tie up loose ends or already kind of create blueprints for the future, for the new lifestyle that you want to live. Maybe you've decided you want to start a new diet or a new routine, or reschedule your entire agenda in a way, and the way you handle details is probably making a change, or you're probably noticing how the way you've previously handled details has worked and you want to continue that or expand upon that. It's a good time to just be really critical and analyze your everyday life and the routines and rituals that you have, and what needs to stay, what needs to change, or just really sitting in the contentment of it all if that's where you're at. This is a time where you're aware, you just know, you're just very intuitively connected to just the everyday mundane aspects of things. Where when people say, what is that statement? The beauty is found in the small things, or basically the small things in life matter. This is a time where you're really aware of that, and you're really aware of how that actually needs to be respected in a way, acknowledged, recognized, and implemented. And whatever is not conducive to that, again, gets discarded or just gets put to the wayside. This is a time where you're just organizing, compartmentalizing, and sorting things through. So, again, let's see. Capricorn is transiting your fourth house. This is very fitting because your entire soul, the foundation of who you are, is being restructured. And it just makes sense that as you restructure your foundations, your home, especially your home, and you're making it conducive to the reality that you truly want to live, it also makes sense that you're restructuring your lifestyle. And with Aries being in your 7th house, the nature of the relationships you have with people are also being restructured. There's a lot of just restructuring going on with all this cardinal energy, because it's like, in order for you to live the reality and the experience that you want, you're going to have to make changes. And this goes for everybody. This is not just, in the astrology. It's just, you got to make changes where they have to be made. And it's not just the changes, but also recognizing the what in those areas of life. So, moving on to Scorpio. Scorpio, you have the new moon in Pisces happening in your 5th house. And the 5th house is a house that deals with your self-confidence, your self-love, and the reality that you are the shit no matter what. And if people can't put respect on the name, they probably don't need to be speaking to you. It's really that simple. This is a time too where, because the 5th house deals with romance, the part of life when in relationships with people where you recognize that you like them and you have a crush on them and you're romantic with them before you go into the 8th house and you solidify things and you formulate that commitment and that bond. So romantic endeavors, this is definitely something that you are paying attention to. Things in your life that just make you feel good. That's what the 5th house is. The 5th house is fun, it's play, it's hobbies, it's romance. It's the things in life that's like, yeah, I love being alive. Hedonism is amazing. That kind of thing, right? So you're understanding how your own creative source is really affecting the world around you, but also how the things that you indulge in is affecting you. Because with Capricorn being in your 3rd house, the things that are around you, the things that you're familiar with, whether it's the city that you go grocery store shopping all the time in, or the poster on your wall, the things that you are familiar with are undergoing a restructuring because the 3rd house is being transited by a lot of Capricorn energy. So you're probably, as you are recognizing what you want and loving yourself, truly loving yourself by making decisions that, force your reality around you to respect the essence of who you are. As you're doing those things, you're also recognizing how the structures and boundaries and limitations in your life need to be restructured in order to produce or construct an environment that you're not just familiar with, but you're actually content and happy to be in. And oh my gosh, I didn't plug in the microphone. Hang on. Anyways, I'm so sorry. Mercury retrograde, man. Oh, this makes me so mad because I just want to stop the whole thing and start over, but I'm already 30 minutes in and I'm not about to do that. But yeah, Pisces in your 5th house, feel good about yourself. Really take pride in who you've become. Take pride in what you've created yourself to be and the reality of how far your creative abilities and endeavors can take you. This is a time where you can, not necessarily fake it till you make it. Don't do that, but really feel confident in yourself. Even if it's weird because you probably didn't feel confident before. Feel confident in yourself because you are the shit, okay? When people looked at diamonds, they're like, wow, this is a beautiful thing. But little do they know that it took from charcoal to diamonds. It took a lot of pressure to become that radiant and valuable jewel to the point where people are literally killing others over a rock that took millions of years, or so they say, and pressure to create. It's like, allow yourself to be confident despite the entire process of what it took for you to be here. I know sometimes, life can be so brutal, but when you look at a diamond, a refined piece of diamond, you're like, wow, like that's pristine, that's sparkly. It speaks for itself. So, this is a time where you just maintain confidence in yourself. Enjoy who you are, enjoy yourself, and, be content with the work you've done and just enjoy life. Just enjoy the essence of being alive, essentially. And surround yourself with people who do that, because that's what's really, really important too. And lastly, to add with the Scorpio, with Aries being in your 6th house, the nature of the lifestyle that you live and the choices that you're making in your lifestyle is really geared towards your sense of self and whether or not who you are is actually benefiting from the rituals and routines that you've developed in your life. Long story short, like what I'm trying to say about the 6th house Aries is live a lifestyle that is conducive to you. The 6th house is ruled by Virgo, and Virgo is very clear and cutthroat and cut and dried when it comes to, developing an environment that is actually nurturing and healthy and supports one's sovereignty, because that's kind of what it's all about when it comes to the 6th house. It's how well can you sustain yourself. And with yours being an Aries, just make sure the lifestyle that you live and the routines that you're doing is conducive to sustaining who you are. Moving on. Sagittarius. Now, the microphone is plugged in, right? Yeah, it is plugged in. Okay. Sagittarius, the new moon in Pisces is happening in your 4th house. The 4th house deals with not just your home and your family, but also your soul, your own personal understanding and development from when you were a child up until now. Because if you think about it, the opposite of the 4th house is the 10th house, which is the public arena. So who you are in your own soul. This is a time where you are making peace with the past, making peace with your family, with your lineage, with your legacy, and also creating blueprints to further expand upon that and to further expand upon your own development. Because with the new moon being here, be intuitive and respect your inner knowing. That means if something feels off, do what's necessary to make that security there. Otherwise, that's how you gain insecurities. Really take the time to fortify your inner peace, your inner security. And this also deals a lot with the nature of the relationships you have with people, because Gemini being in your 7th house, you have to really be honest and aware of the integrity that is presenting itself to you in regards to the relationships you have with people, because that has a large reflection on the overall bigger picture that you not just deal with at a personal level, but other people also see from you. And with Capricorn transiting your 2nd house, the way your 4th house in Pisces is being affected with this is your 2nd house is being restructured, meaning you are really focused on bringing yourself value and heightening the worth of your currency. Currency meaning, I just blanked out for a second. Oh my goodness. Currency meaning not just the financial aspect of it, which is your money, but also the value you have within that brings you the actual physical currency. Because both currencies are essentially the same. It's just the physical representation of it is different. This is a time where, you really take a look into your own intimate understanding of yourself and your roots and your life and your family, and just be really in touch with how you feel about everything. This is a time where if you're really, for anybody, Pisces new moon, this is a time where you're either you can get to a point where you're content and let go, or make peace with the past and focus forward, or you're doing that. Because Pisces, again, it's the experience. It's allowing yourself to just be. And you can't just be if there's a thorn in your side, if there's a monkey on your back, if there's people around you that are just so freaking annoying, you really don't want to be in the space anymore. If you're living with people that are annoying you, that are causing you a lot of emotional distress, this is a time where you have to take a look at yourself, and it's like, okay, I am the architect of my own creation and destruction. Do I want this or not? No? Okay, move on. Do I want to keep this or not? Yes? Okay, let's go. But your internal emotional satisfaction is what's important here. And this is a focus point. And also understanding how you support other people, but also how other people support you. Because with Cancer being in your 8th house, the nature, okay, this is very important because the opposition that Cancer in the 8th house makes to your Capricorn in the 2nd house, it's like the nature of the purity in terms of integrity and authenticity in the relationships and connections that you have, whether it's commitments with relationships with people or it's financial connections. If they are not pure, it cannot be sustained. When I say pure, I mean authentic, right? It's, what is it? There's a saying, it's beneficial, not superficial. Beneficial, not artificial. If it's not benefiting you in a healthy way, it's not going to yield the financial results you desire. And with this Capricorn energy, especially transiting your 2nd house, you cannot play yourself. Sagittarius, I'm telling you right now, because every Sagittarius I know, listen, I have to go into Sagittarius energy, but it's like, this is the one sign that is not afraid to go there and reach the limits and expand on those limits. A lot of the time, Sagittarius people have experiences where they literally come face to face with, death or God or whatever it is that you want to call it, but they come face to face with the reality that they are mortal creatures and they are susceptible to consequences that can destroy their own life or other people's lives, right? I went really deep here, but the point I'm trying to make is you have to really pay attention to the authenticity in the connections, the glue that is in your life and what it is that you've allowed to glue itself to you and your experience. I really hope all of that made sense. But anyways, the new moon in Pisces in your 4th house is a conglomeration of all of that, because now you're really sitting there like, okay, how do I feel about all this? How do I feel about, just the foundations that I have, my garden? Look at your 4th house as a garden. Anyways, moving on. No, not Leo. Sagittarius, Capricorn. I really did not mean to make this video longer than like 15 minutes, but I'm already 37 minutes in. Goodness, I'm probably gonna make this a separate video. I don't know. Let me stop. Let me continue. Capricorn, the new moon in Pisces is happening in your 3rd house. The 3rd house deals a lot with think of a city, think of all the roads. Now, highlight the roads in your mind and think of all the things that are moving through those roads. That's essentially logistics. The 3rd house deals with logistics, communications, skills, interactions, contacts, the market that's full of people trying to buy stuff. It's that kind of energy. So with the new moon happening in your 3rd house, this is a great time to establish new skills or create blueprints for new skills, but also reflect upon the skills that you currently have and the situations, the social situations that you've connected with, and how those, bring you to the environment that you're in, bring you to what it is that you're familiar with. Because the 3rd house also deals with familiarity and just the tiny details of life that you can't really control, like in the 6th house, but you're aware of. And also recognizing, just areas you want to avoid, areas you want to expand upon, just really understanding the micro to the macro in your life, and where you become a lot more aware to your external environment and reality. And not just that, but also the people in it. This is a good time to, take care of things that deal with like just mundane I've got to, knock all these errands out of my to-do list, or I've got to go to the garage and get my car fixed today. I've got to just little things like that. This is a good time to, recognize what needs to be done, or create new things or new blueprints for things that you actually want to expand upon in regards to, your third house, your communications, your skills, school, courses, tasks, just things that require spurts of energy that you can easily take care of, daily tasks, mundane things. This also reflects upon, Capricorn being in your first house. Again, who you are is just being restructured, period. Okay, everything at a personal level is being restructured and changed completely. And here's the thing with Capricorn, like I was talking to Sagittarius about, the thing with Capricorn is, the reason why Capricorns can be boss and pimps is because they keep it real. But Capricorns who do not keep it real, this is where the Saturnian evil influence can easily come out, and you literally become the best architect for destruction for not just yourself, but the people around you, because it happens in such a sinister way. Because you have to remember, Cancer is your opposite sign. So you know how to throw the fairy dust, so to speak, or provide, the pillow that actually has like a brick inside. It's just the essence that Capricorn, you always have to keep it real with yourself and not just the world around you. Keep it real, because there's a lot of aspects, especially with, Neptune being in Pisces, where there's opportunities for disillusionment and creations of delusions and illusions that can easily be missed until after you go through the experience, and then you have to take care of that consequence, whether it's good or bad. So with all the Capricorn energy transiting your first house, this is just a good time to be mindful and aware of the lifestyle that you are personally doing and living and being, who you are at a personal level, the personal things that, you want to take care of, whether it's in regards to your own health, yourself, how you dress, how you look, how you talk. It can be anything that is personal, just even your own thoughts. People may not know this about you necessarily, but all of these things in relation to your own soul, because the fourth house is Aries and Venus is in Aries, and Venus right now is in an area of your life where you're, experiencing and indulging in things that you feel is a reflection of who you are. But again, you have to keep it real. You have to have a side where there's no going overboard too much, because that Capricorn energy in Saturn, in Pluto, and all the other planets is no joke. Like, it is no joke. And now that we're in Pisces season, this is the opportunity for just fiasco if we're not careful. Now, the Pisces new moon being in your third house is, again, a conglomerate of all of this in regards to how not just the relationships you have with people and the authenticity of those relationships you have, but how all of those things just tie into what is a part of you, what you feel is familiar to you, what you feel is a reflection of your surroundings. Now, second to last, Aquarius. Oh my goodness. Aquarius, guys, like when Saturn goes into Aquarius, like it's going to be lit. It's going to be lit because now reality is going to be in a space where you've been all along, pretty much. And it's going to feel good because while you're looking at people just lose their shit, it's like, been there, done that. It's okay. You'll get through it. I'm just teasing. Not really. But okay, next. The Pisces new moon is happening in your second house. Excuse me. The second house is a house that deals with not just your senses, literally the five senses, because it's ruled by Taurus, but also the nature of how what you attract influences you. And you really want to make sure that the things and the people and the places that you surround yourself with, that you invite in, that you are connected to, is a reflection of how worthy you feel or the standards you've set for yourself. Because the nature of, oh my goodness, my mind went blank again. Mercury retrograde. Yeah, the nature of the connections you have, you're aware, because Virgo being your 8th house, there's a pristine quality to it. You know what you're connecting to. No BS. You know exactly what you're connecting to, whether or not what you're connecting to can bring you what you desire, or what you're going to have to give up in order to gain. You're just very aware of the nature of connections and the glue to life, right? And you're aware of just the tiny little details that are what creates innovation. In the same way, use this Pisces new moon to create new financial blueprints, new financial issues to focus on, because the second house also deals with your financial money. It deals with your money. Okay, it deals with your money. And this is a time where you're like, am I gaining more money? Do I have financial issues? Am I losing money? How can I gain more money? How can I make money while I sleep? Just little things like that. This is a time where your mind will just be very currency focused, and use this opportunity, excuse me, to develop new ways or discover new ways to just make more. This is the Aquarian mindset, where it's like you understand the fact that you can create something out of quote unquote nothing. So, enjoy life. And as you enjoy life, as you enjoy the senses, as you connect intuitively to your value and currency, expand upon new territories in regards to that. Now, with Capricorn being in your 12th house, this helps a lot, because you're closing the door and saying goodbye and just reflecting upon everything that is your past. Because Capricorn being in the 12th house, it's the reality of your subconscious and your conscious mind. And also unconscious to a certain extent, because Pluto is there. But it's a whole closure that's going on. Closure that leads to new beginnings, and new beginnings that lead to closures. It's just a cycle is completing itself. Cycles are completing themselves, because the Capricorn energy in your 12th house, it's restructuring as well as destroying or dismantling or destructing. You're recreating or structuring up new subconscious faculties, new subconscious tendencies based off of just previous experiences that you've had. Because with your Cancer being in your 6th house, you're making sure that the lifestyle that you're living, the reality that you have, the day-to-day life, your health is conducive to the overall structure of your spirituality. And in the same way, this is reflected upon how you value yourself and the currency that you have. Because again, Pisces energy is intuitive. It's just this inner knowing, because it's all an experience. Lastly, let me make sure I'm still recording. This Mercury retrograde got me messed up. Let's see. Come on, phone. Okay, so 48 minutes in. Woot woot. So Pisces, this is happening in your 1st house. Wow. Seriously. This is a time where you know that feeling where you just take a fresh shower and the water was all warm and you feel squeaky clean and you step out feeling like a brand new person. This is kind of what this new moon in your 1st house is like. You are aware of who you've been, you are aware of who you are, and you are aware of the possibilities of what you could be. This is a time where, allow the energy, the essence that is who you are, to just shine through and just experience yourself for who you are. Think about, the nature in which people express themselves and how different everybody is. And it's like, whether or not, you're happy about certain things or unhappy about certain things about yourself, this is a time where you are content with yourself, because at the end of the day, it is what it is. You do your best, you forget the rest. Focus on personal things you may want to change, things that can help, raise your confidence levels if you want, or if that's what's needed, or if that's what you feel needs to happen, or think of ways where you can just, again, let yourself be. Polish yourself as you go, because the opposition of your first house, the seventh house, is Virgo. Virgo is the seventh house. So it's like you meet people who help you stay refined, just like Virgo meets people who help them appreciate and experience the unrefined side to life. I don't know how else to put this, but you're a Pisces, you get it. So, be confident in the impression that you have, because people who have Pisces in the first house, or Pisces rising in general, or just Pisces placement, it's like the 12th house. People can easily project onto you what they want to see from you. But this is a time where you fight that off by just letting who you are shine through and holding yourself up to the standard that you are or have for yourself, and not backing down from that. The authenticity in who you are matters so much, Pisces, because Capricorn being in your 11th house, it's a reflection also of the integrity of the community and organizations you're a part of. So say you're not a Pisces that's integral or authentic, the connections and organizations you're in, or the friends you have, they're just going to be people who literally use you, people who drain you, people who don't care because you don't care. Again, Capricorn energy is no joke. Have the authenticity that that you are, and hold yourself up to that and maintain that. And with, your sixth house being in Leo, your lifestyle has a lot to do with the confidence and value you have within yourself. It's like, if you feel good and you feel good, it's almost like just everything around you just magically sets itself into place. It's like you don't really have to try to enhance the serendipitous moments in your life. They just are naturally there, because you recognize not just the divinity that is in your everyday life, but you're highly aware of it at a super conscious level. Super conscious meaning your Aquarius being in the 12th house. You just know. Okay, Piscean energy is very much an experience. When things get so much and you don't feel like organizing and compartmentalizing, just breathe and realize it's your mind. You're not your thoughts, and just enjoy the new experiences. Enjoy the totality that you are and that you've recognized yourself to be up until this moment, and let yourself live as you have been and as you will continue to be. You don't have to feel as if parts of you are not seen, parts of you are hidden, parts of you are shown that you don't want to see. All of that is just thoughts. You are who you are, and you're aware of your essence and your existence, and just, let the evolution of yourself shine through. And that concludes the video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And if you have any questions, comments, email me, DM me. If you have a long question, it's preferable that you email me so that I can, respond to you more, I guess, thoroughly, just because DMs, it's really small texting wise. So anyways, I also offer a natal chart analysis, and there's a 30% sale going on right now, so take advantage of that. And thank you guys again, and till next time, take care.